watching Edinburgh and beyond. Please welcome the puller of the perfect pint, the pub landlord, Mr. Al Murray!
Hey! Cheers! Let's hear it for the beer! All hail to the ale! And welcome to wine for the ladies. Good evening. You're watching Edinburgh and Beyond here on Paramount Comedy, where the finest stand-up comedians on the world are beamed to you direct for your TV set. It's fantastic. But most importantly, look at this beautiful British audience, the beautiful British people who are watching it live on stage tonight. Look at you beautiful... Geezer here. What's your name, pal?
Graham.
Graham. Beautiful British name. You appear to have a piece of metal caught in your eyebrow, sir. What happened? You're working on the lathe and a bit of swarf. What do you do for a living, Graham?
Carpenter.
A carpenter? That's a proper job, isn't it? Hey, come here. You like Jesus, aren't you? Like Jesus. Yeah, like Jesus. A bit gobby, expecting lunch. And never returning. Job half done. You're beautiful people. Look at these skinny lads, these two lads here. Like Tweedledum and Tweedledee, but before and after a crash diet. Tweedledum, what's your name, son?
Kenny.
Kenny! No, you're not called Kenny. No one that age is called Kenny. Fuck off. You should be 45 and have a whippet. You're called Kenny. Well, how old are you, son?
18.
18, good boy. And what do you do for a living, Kenny?
I'm in college at the minute.
You're at college? What are you studying?
Business studies.
Business studies, fantastic. How to put the till roll into a machine. And this is your mate, Tweedledee?
My cousin.
Your cousin? Fantastic. What's your name, son?
Paul.
Paul! That's more like it, isn't it? Kenny. What do you do, Paul?
I'm a cleaner.
You're a cleaner? Woman's work! Are you sure he's your cousin? Yeah. No, are you sure he's your cousin? Are you related to a bloke who's a cleaner? That's what I'm asking you. No, good boy, fantastic. That's that sorted out. Now, I would be in severe dereliction of my duty if I did not notice the lad with crazy hair in the second row. You got crazy hair. What's he got? Crazy hair! What's he got? Crazy hair! What's he got? Crazy hair! Good on you, son. I'm just jealous. Now, tell me. What's your name, pal?
John.
John. Beautiful British name. Such a normal name, but crazy hair! What do you do, John?
I'm still in school.
You're still in school, but nevertheless a school that tolerates crazy hair! What A-levels you doing?
I'm not sure yet.
You're not sure yet? You've just done your GCSEs? Good boy. Of course, I remember when it was possible to fail your exams. Oh, these are beautiful, beautiful girls. The young lady in the yellow, what's your name, darling? Katie. What do you do, sweetie?
I'm a lap dancer.
A lap dancer! It's been a year. What's your favourite kind of lap?
Bald head.
No, it's maroon, actually, love. Now, no, seriously, what do you do, darling?
Dental nurse.
A dental nurse? Still poking around in people's mouths. It's like a reverse of the other job. The simple fact is, television is a British invention, ladies and gentlemen. It's a British invention, yeah? A British invention that we should be proud of. A British invention. And not only have British inventors invented leading items that we need, like TV, trains, radios, or whatever, British inventors have also spent a great deal of their time covering the arses of the rest of the world's inventors. That is a fact, right? For instance, the French. Oh, French! The French are the masters of wine, aren't they? And produce over 20% of the wine in the world. Did you know that? 20%. They've supposedly been doing so since around 300 BC. Brilliant. Well done. Vive France. Give them a biscuit. But What were the French doing until 1795? I'll tell you, they were sat on their French derrieres, surrounded by the finest wines in the world, waiting for the British inventor, Reverend Samuel Henschel, to invent the fucking corkscrew. Because stands to reason until he came along, they couldn't get the bastards open, could they? Time wasters. If it wasn't for us, Jean-Francois, you'd still be drinking that cheap wine that comes in boxes. Now, it wasn't the last time we helped the French out in time of crisis, was it, eh? 1944, D-Day. The first postal system, of course, you knew that. You, Kenny, you know this. The first postal system ever can be dated back to Iran, possibly as early as the 6th century BC. But until we invented stamps on the 1st of May 1840, those letters were going nowhere. A backlog of 24 centuries of undelivered mail sold overnight by us, you and me, the British. I'll tell you this much. Cornelius Jacobzoon Drebel, a Dutchman, started work on a submarine. That's right, the submarine. At the beginning of the 17th century. He did, crazy hair, he did. It's funny that, because it wasn't until 1902 that the British inventor Simon Lake invented the periscope. So just how that clog-wearing buffoon was going to figure out which way he was headed, we don't know. He must have been stoned, as usual. It's just a few examples of British inventors spending all their time covering the arse of the rest of the world. Yeah? So, now... They say, don't they, that laughter is the best medicine. They say that, don't they? Yeah? Do they say that? Yeah. Well, they're wrong. Because if Alexander Fleming had concentrated on writing one-liners, half of you lot would be dead from tonsillitis right now. But our first act can cue you in both ways, however, ladies and gentlemen. He's a doctor, believe it or not. Please give it up for Mr. Paul Sinha!
Hello, good evening to you all. My name's Paul Sinha. I'm a stand-up comic. As you can imagine, my parents are thrilled for me. They're absolutely delighted. I mean, when they arrived here in 1968, it was their dream come true that their firstborn son had all the benefits of a British education and became a clown. Yeah, that's right. That's right, 1968. That's when my mum and dad made the same decision half of India made and arrived here rather than the United States of America. What an odd choice. Why this cold, rainy, windswept, traffic-congested island? Why not live the American dream? I'll tell you why not. 1960s. Here were the options. Birmingham, Alabama, Birmingham, West Midlands. Forced to sit at the back of the bus, get to drive the fucking thing. It was a fairly... natural choice in the end. I'm not just here to tick the ethnic box. I'm a qualified doctor. I'm an openly gay man and that perennial comedy favourite. Yes, I am single. I'd like to thank my straight friends who've always done their best for me. These days, every time I go to one of their weddings, I'm sat on the table with the other gay man. That's gonna work. We never have anything in common, and it's always me who has to break the ice by praising him on conducting such a beautiful service. But... I mean, there has been progress of sorts. July 2005, at the age of 35, with no courage on my part whatsoever, I finally came out to my dad. My mum, she's known for many years. You dream about how your mum will find out. Well, many years ago, a genuinely beautiful thing happened. A friend of mine got drunk, rung her up and said, "Your son's gay!" and put the phone down. Hilarious student prank on every level. My mum didn't find it so funny, crying her eyes out for 10 to 15 years. My dad, I'm such a coward, I was never actually going to tell him. That's right, openly gay comic, too scared to come out to his dad. A comic so openly gay that The Independent on Sunday described me as gay. Then... July 2005, the Manchester Evening News published a huge photo of my face underneath the headline, "The only gay Bengali doctor in the village." I am starting to feel a little bit paranoid. My dad rings me up and says, we need to chat. I go over on the Monday and he sits me down and hits me with a bombshell. Your mum tells me there's something about your life you haven't told me yet. Shit. And I sat there and I racked my brain thinking what story could fill this gap. And then I remembered when I was 18, I crashed his car into 2 stationary cars in Mitcham, South London. I wasn't drunk, I wasn't speeding, I dropped a Mars bar. I went down to pick it up. I remember it so vividly, the woman whose 100 I'd written off, crying her eyes out saying she needed the car to drive handicapped children around at Christmas. I was mortified that anyone still used the word handicapped. But 18 years on, this story was not going to fill the gap. And realisation starts to set in that I was going to have to come out to my dad. And do you know what he says? Big deal. No one gives a shit about that anymore. How weird was that? The 100-to-1 outsider. Not the 1,000-to-1 rank outsider, which would be my dad saying to me, you're gay, don't tell your mum, but I'm a little bi-curious myself. But it was definitely the 100-to-1 outsider. Boy, did I not see this one coming. But at this point, I have to thank the fact I was never brought up in a deeply religious way. There's a reason for that. I'm a Hindu. Anyone remember us? Flying monkeys, we all live in arms, the joke religion. No one was ever meant to take it seriously. It's hard for us now. We've got nothing left to fight for. The Muslims, they got Palestine. The Jews, they've got Palestine. The Sikhs, they got England cricket selectors' obsession that left-arm spinners have to be able to bat a bit. What have we got? What have we got? Nothing. And yet, despite the fact that I'm from the more liberal wing of Asian immigration into this country, being gay is still seen as the ultimate taboo, a status just below a leper and just above somebody that doesn't really understand cricket. So my dad had to have found his newfound liberal values in this country, which leads me to believe perhaps the good folk in this country are a hell of a lot more decent and tolerant they are often given credit for. I do, of course, mean during the day and not at night, where we have the worst drunks in the world. I count myself amongst them. I am a terrible drunk. By day, polite, mild-mannered physician. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm stumbling around, slurring my speech and falsely accusing people of being racist. Whenever I'm badly drunk or badly losing an argument, out comes the accusation, you're a racist. And being such a bad drunk, my luck was always going to run out. And on the first Friday of March this year, it did, when I was gigging in Glasgow in Scotland. Had a lovely gig to celebrate. I went to a local eatery called the Best Kebab House and ordered a large chicken kebab. And I was really excited because this place was called the Best Kebab House. And either kebab had to be the best or the house had to be the best. It couldn't be the house because this place was a shithole. And outside, an argument is escalating. I'm thinking, Paul, ignore this argument, look straight on. My brain, now 60% drunk and 40% autistic, is thinking, what's the longest word I could get for the letters of Best Kebab House? I'm clearly more drunk than I think, but the best I can do is kebab and house. Outside, the argument is escalating ever more, so I reflexly turn round, only to see a Glaswegian fist come flying towards my head. I've always wondered what I'd do in this situation. I watched a lot of heavyweight boxing. Perhaps my subconscious could recreate Muhammad Ali's rope-a-dope movement. I've watched all 3 Matrix movies. Perhaps I could lift a hand, hold his fist, and smack him one with the other. My manoeuvre, altogether less skillful. I stood there and took a single punch, bang, in the middle of my head. I had all the speed and precision of thought of a Jamaican homicide detective. For 20 minutes, no one came to my assistance. I thought for a second I might actually be dead. I needed a boy who could see dead people to guide me to that woman whose 100 I'd written off. I could make peace with her and go into the afterlife. But I realised I wasn't dead when the police came to take a statement. And I told them what I've told you tonight, that a man who said nothing punched me bang in the middle of the head. And they actually said to me, do you think it was racist? You appear to be mistaking me for Derren Brown. The man said nothing. I have no idea whatsoever. Unless he'd punched me with one hand and with the other held up a banner saying this punch represents my hatred for non-white people all across the globe, then I'm sorry, I can't help you with the motive. I said to them, I'm really sorry, but I have no idea why a stranger would punch me in the middle of the head in a Glasgow kebab house, and then I started crying. And the most embarrassing thing is the only thing I had to wipe the tears off was the sleeve of my Glasgow Celtic football top. But I do know know why the guy punched me. He was British and he was drunk. That's what we do. We don't really take drink very well. We drink and drink and drink and drink until it's 4 in the morning and we're capsizing a pedalo off the coast of St. Lucia. But during the day, we're lovely, lovely people. We must be, because in 1968, when my mum and dad came over here, they came here to become British. And 37 years and 2 British passports later, my dad responded to me coming out, not with anger, spite, malice, or even heartbreak. Oh no, it's far worse than that. He's trying to arrange me a husband. It's a personal tragedy for me. I genuinely thought I'd get through life. I had to do an arranged marriage joke. Now I fear being headhunted by the Kumars at number 42. I've got to say, you've been an absolutely lovely, lovely crowd. If you enjoyed my stuff, be aware that I've just done a pilot for a TV show. Well, he said he was a pilot. And if you have... If you have enjoyed my stuff, my God, become my MySpace friend. I am that desperate for company. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't, well, I'm sorry, you're a racist. Enjoy the rest of the show. I'll be Paul Sinha. Thank you very much for that.